Hey guys! So World of Warcraft Midnight. So the little thing was just released, the cutscene or the cinematic, and like a brief little, gameplay sort of thing, was shown. But this is the developer panel at Gamescom, and 23 minutes. So they're probably going to talk about what they showed in the trailer and little like the Prey thing. Like, what the hell is that? We need to know. So we're gonna get right into that. So let me actually turn this down for me. There we go. And yeah, so let's get right into this. Oh, poopy. Okay, they're just kind of showing us this little thing again, I think. Or not. Midnight.
Please join me in welcoming Ian Hazacostas
Ian.
and Marie Hamilton for the World of Midnight. Give it up!
Ian. Nice to know he's a man who never changes.
Guten Tag und herzlich willkommen. Thank you, Gamescom.
English motherfucker, do you speak it? I'm kidding. That's cool.
Thank you for coming out for this panel where we're going to talk about the world of Midnight, the story, the zones, the cultures, and the places that you'll go. I'm Ian Hazacostas, game director on WoW.
Ian.
Hi, I'm Maria Hamilton, associate design director on WoW. I'm super happy to be here.
Okay, first I wonder what they're gonna do. So like with these things, they tend to tease things of like the next expansion or something like that, even though they're teasing, they're showing us the upcoming expansion. They do like to tease things for the future, so I wonder if they're going to be cheeky and possibly throw in something like, probably not, but I also I like the scenery going on, like Silver Moon, Quel'Tha Lost, Silver Moon, but like Void, you got the little Void thing right up there. That's really cool. Anyway.
And so today we're going to talk about story, cultures, delves, dungeons, and raids. So let me just kick things off with
Delves,
a quick recap
dungeons, and raids
of the stories so far. What brought us here? So we began the World Soul Saga around a year ago and began telling the largest, most ambitious story we've ever tried to tell in World of Warcraft. It all began with whispers, visions that the champions of Azeroth were beginning to experience that ultimately led Thrall and Anduin, among others, to, a certain sword in a certain place.
What sword?
We investigated, we tracked those visions down, and ultimately they led us to the mysterious land of Khazalgar, where we deployed the floating city of Dalaran, and that didn't go so well. We were in fact ambushed by Xal'atath and her Nerubian allies, where Xal'atath wielded the Dark Heart artifact to drain the power of Dalaran, capturing Khadgar as well, and destroying the city. Over the course of our adventures, Xal'atath thwarted us several times, but Ilaria was able to ultimately perceive the power and the importance of the Dark Heart. She struck out at it, damaging it. This severely disrupted Xal'atath's plans, as well as freeing Khadgar. He was mortally wounded, but Anduin was able to step in and save him. But that disruption led Xal'atath to seek out the aid of one Gallywix. Now, the Dark Heart is this incredibly powerful artifact, originally crafted by Neltharion with the aid of the goblins. So who better than some goblins to repair the damage? But she should have found some more trustworthy goblins, because Gallywix, of course, had a plan of his own. And the Dark Heart ended up falling into the hands of Shadowguard Ethereals, who aimed to use it to bring back the Void Lord Demencius, a threat so great that it even forced Xal'atath to set aside her goals and work with us for a time to stop his rise and the inevitable devouring of all worlds. Now, we have defeated Demencius, at least on story mode, Raid Finder, Normal, and Heroic. I think Echo is actually working on Mythic around 25 minutes from here right now. So is Method and Liquid. But would you believe that upon Dimensius' defeat, Zelatath was not, as it turns out, on our side? And so she claimed the power of the Void Lord Dimensius, ascended to become one of the most powerful beings the cosmos has ever known. And now, as we move into midnight, she is set to launch an assault that will plunge our world into darkness, that will extinguish all light unless we stand against it.
All right, well, let's start off talking about our heroes and our foes. So starting off, we've got Turalian, Erator, and Ilaria. We've been following Ilaria's journey for a bit here. We know about her
So nice to see the family
about
together
Zelatath,
again.
and she was right all along. We also have Turalian, her husband, who will be an important part of Midnight as a representative of the light. So at the
And
very end
Erator
of
is
the
the
cinematic there,
son
when
of
we see
the child
light
of
coming,
destiny.
in response to Liadrin's prayer, the army of light has arrived, and so have the players. We also
Lord
will be
of
called by the
Road.
light to come and join that
Region
battle.
Lord of Wealth and Us.
Erator, of course, is their child.
Oh, he's
He
looking
also
good.
is a paladin, and
Got a whole new
he
model.
is very supportive and understanding of both of his parents. He's trying to understand the void influences that Ilaria is dealing with, as well as the strong call to light that his father has. So he's a little bit in the middle of the two. So they are very important to our story. And of course, we have Zelatath. Couldn't go very far without Zelatath, our very cool villain. She seems to do whatever she needs to do to achieve whatever her goal is.
And
She's
somehow
now
she always
stated
seems
her
to get
goal
what she
is.
wants.
She's going to wipe us off the planet. She's going to take Azeroth. She's going to take all the power for herself and bring down Midnight. So looking forward to seeing what's happening with Zelatath. Wasn't really expecting the Army of the Light to show up there, as you could tell. She seemed a little surprised, but she's got plenty of forces, and she's very powerful at this point.
Yeah, basically all she has to do is look at any of them, and they're all just like, oh. So I mean, I don't know why she didn't do that. Although I have to say, the Void Walkers in the cinematic looked amazing. I don't think you truly appreciate how terrifying they actually are in game, because they're just like. But then you see them in the cinematic, and you see like the swirling dust, and how detailed they are, and just how truly terrifying these things actually are. And but yeah, they looked really, really good. Also, people were complaining about the variant lack of feet from Zelatath in that cinematic. I don't think they want to spend that much time and effort on her feet. Sorry, guys. Sorry. All the times that they have to show her feet and everything, you lost out on that one time you could have seen high def Zelatath feet. You know, high def, very detailed, but no. You lost that. And people are raging online that there's not enough feet. I shouldn't say raging, but those people are just very, very upset that we see her feet all the time, and in this cinematic where there should have been feet galore, you got nothing. You got nothing, and you'll enjoy it.
We also have Liadrin. She is she's the Blood Knight matriarch. She's obviously a very powerful paladin. She's the one who has called upon the light to come and save the day. And she is going to be very important to our efforts to push back the void. She does not. Also,
I was thinking about this. I don't know if it's said in game. So the gold eyes, at least for the Kaldari or the Night Elves, that means you're a child of destiny, where you're gonna have this great, sort of thing about you. Like Queen Azara has gold eyes, Illidan had gold eyes. Is it the same? Because I'm into the lore, but not that into the lore. So is it the same for the Sindorai as it is for the Kaldari? Do gold eyes mean like, oh, you have a great destiny about you? Because her eyes have always been gold. And I don't think I've ever taken the time to really look, because I'm just like with them, I'm so used to seeing the green eyes, but Liadrin has gold eyes. like Illidan had, like Ajara has. So is it the same thing in Sindorai, as in, considering they kind of stem from the same starting point, they just so is it the same for them? That gold eyes means you have a destiny, you're going to do great things, whether good or ill. Yeah, I looked at it, I was like, she has gold eyes. I never realized she had gold eyes. She must have a destiny.
Not have a strong liking for the Amani trolls, and that will become important. We have Orwena, who we met back in the War Within, the Heronir. We met a few of them, not a lot. And as you probably know, we'll be going and seeing more about their culture and their race. Orwena is going to have an opportunity to teach us about her people and what they care about, what their interests are, their culture. And she is one of the youngest of her race, actually. She is not an elder. There are elder Heronir, much more knowledgeable and wise. She follows the voice of her goddess, and that has taken her into places that we have been able to find her at last. We have Umbric and the Void Elves. This is an opportunity for the Void Elves to really come into their own, having been banished essentially from Silvermoon and their kin, essentially, because of the void taint that they feel that they have. Umbric is obviously trying to pull his people together, and he has a lot to contribute to our efforts to face off against the void. We have Zuljara and Zul'Jan, grandchildren of Zul'Jin. Zuljara is the chieftain of the Amani. Zul'Jan is her greatest advisor and brother. They are going to be giving us an opportunity to experience the Amani culture, not as enemies this time, but as sort of friends. They too are having slight void problems, and they need some assistance.
Okay, so I really like that idea. How this was a faction of trolls that we've been enemies with. We've gone into their territory. We've killed them, but now we're kind of allying with them and learning more about them and kind of helping them. The Zandalari, we did the same thing. That was the same thing with them. They were against us. So I hope we do eventually, because I love the troll aesthetic, whether it be, Eastern Kingdoms or Kalimdor or Northrend. Any troll that, tribe of trolls that live there, I always love their aesthetics. So I hope this is kind of another start, because like I said, we've already done the Zandalari. So now that we're going to go to Zul'Aman and kind of party with them over there, hopefully we can kind of reconcile any kind of differences that we've had. And I hope we can go do same thing, go to like Zul'Garub and do, over there, the Gurabashi. So I hope that as the Horde, we're going to say, hey, we should go around to all these tribes of trolls and just say, hey guys, we're here to help. Whether they join the Horde or become allied races, we're for either one. I would love to see more troll stuff. So I think this kind of doing this whole, going to Zul'Aman and taking care of things over there and helping them out, and they're like, oh yeah, these guys aren't so bad after all. We'll just forget all the stuff you did to us in the past, but you're helping us now, so that's what's important. But I love the troll aesthetic, and I really, really hope we get to see more of it. And seeing Zul'Aman void corrupted, it's taking the void, which I love, taking trolls, which I love, and they're just like, you can hear the fucking bed squeaking from outside. That's how great it is.
Needless to say, the Blood Elves are uninspired by that request, as they aren't on best of terms. And then we have the Void and the Light, arguably the biggest conflict here between two forces. The Void we have been fighting against, the Light we have been fighting with. But, extremes of either are problematic, as you might imagine. So there will be some issues between the two, and also issues between people that are void-based, like Void Elves, and the Army of the Light Paladins, for example. So that's another important sort of contrast to watch during midnight. And now let's look at the really pretty pictures, go into the culture and zones. So our first culture to talk about is Blood Elves. Those of you that don't play Horde may not know a lot about the Blood Elves. This is your opportunity to rectify that. They were High Elves before adopting the name Sindorai to represent and reflect upon the death of so many of their own. The Scourge, did a terrible number on their home area in Eversong and Ghostlands, and they have been recovering ever since. Their need for power, their need for energy and magical strength is well known. They are very, very tied to the Sunwell, which is, of course, exactly what Xalatath is going after. Here's some pre-alpha footage for you that we just captured a couple weeks ago. I want to point out that there's not a lot of creatures spawned yet because, as I said, we're pre-alpha. But it's looking really good. It's exactly like what you might expect from Eversong. Eversong and Ghostlands have been combined into a single zone, Quel'Thalas.
That freaking mana worm right there. Wow, that's gorgeous. Look at that. That looks very nice. I'm really happy that we're getting revamped. Quel'Thalas. It's been too long. Anyone who's been playing long enough knows that Quel'Thalas is its own little separate map. It's actually on the same map as Outlands. And when you get to Silvermoon, it's smoke and mirrors. It's basically a bunch of like two-dimensional textures with maybe some 3D architecture to kind of give it the illusion of being a full city. But you can't mount up. But to have a Silvermoon where you can actually mount up and fly, dive right on down, it's going to be nice because you've been able to do this like with every other zone, like not starting zone, but like capital. And yet Silvermoon's just been like this remnant of the past. Like no one really goes there. It's completely outdated. And the fact again that it's on its own, the same map as Outland. Like that one, I think you can also get to Outland or Quel'Danas from Outland as well if you just keep flying. But yeah, it's on the same map. That's why when to get there, you kind of like go through a portal to like the Ghostlands and all that, because it's its own separate map. But hopefully that map will disappear and you no longer need that portal to get there. It's just one fluid, unless you're doing like a Sword Dormy type thing where you're like, oh no, take me to the past of this place. But the mana worm looks amazing.
Because it's a relatively small zone. They were small zones back in Classic, and now with Skyriding, we want it to feel fun to move through them. But as you can see, it's the usual sorts of architecture that you would expect: the lofty, glistening towers, the amazing foliage and manicured gardens, and there are some things that have healed. The Dead Scar in particular has totally healed and is no longer there. Not all parts of the zone, however, have healed up. There are still some areas that look a little bit iffy, this being one of them. Essentially, it's the same place you're used to if you're a Blood Elf. If not, here's your opportunity to check it out. Check out the zone. Reimagining it was super fun for us. Artists had a great time. Had the opportunity to make it just a little bit bigger, a little bit better, and increase the fidelity of the zone. Hope you'll enjoy it. We're going to move on now. And this is Silvermoon City. It is enormous. I would say that because it's a hub city, there's a small section of Silvermoon that's been set aside as a sanctuary area where Horde and Alliance share that space. But the majority of the city is Horde, and Alliance is kill on sight, as you would expect. essentially, our world building team had a wonderful time. It's all new assets. The city walls are all brand new, all to top fidelity. Everything has been remade. We've got places you'll recognize. You should feel real nostalgia if you've had any experience here. We have Murder's Row, which you're going to see a dungeon related to that as well. But overall, it's the same glorious, wonderful Silvermoon you love, but with much, much better, much more recent fidelity.
So it sounds like they're kind of taking all of Silvermoon now. So before, it was kind of just like a part of Silvermoon, because they're like, oh, the Scourge messed up a portion of Silvermoon, and we're not going to be able to go on that part. You know, you had like the Dead Scar or whatever outside. You had that quest where you had to kill some of the Scourge out there. So part of Silvermoon was just basically at the time inaccessible. But seems like they've been kind of in the world. They've been kind of rebuilding the Silvermoon and kind of tidying off the side that was kind of messed up. And now we're getting this brand new Silvermoon, which is fully restored, huge. How big it's going to be? Is it going to be... I mean, I think right now, Stormwind is still by far the biggest hub. But if it's like Stormwind big, that's good, because I don't think Orgrimmar is nearly as big as Stormwind. So for the Horde to have a capital city that is just as big as Stormwind would be nice, because Orgrimmar isn't, Undercity isn't. Undercity is like has up in layers, but it's not big. Same thing with like Thunderbluff and all that. There's just nothing there that, you know, the Horde can latch onto and say, yeah, it's huge. This is us. You know, Stormwind's kind of the biggest. So if hopefully it'd be nice to have a big city to run around in. Unfortunately, they do just kind of have like a lot of open area, doors just on buildings that don't open, buildings with nothing in them. Just if you want to make it the World of Warcraft, you need to make it feel alive. You know, give the guards a schedule. I mean, if games like Majora's Mask or stuff like that could do that almost 30 years ago, surely you can do that as well. Actually, it was like 20 something years ago. So I'm sure you can have the technology to give everyone their own schedule, make the city feel like a city. But that's just a theory, a game theory. Thanks for watching.
Art. And once this stuff gets filled in with our spawning, it's gonna look amazing. And yeah, there's a little void storm problem going on. And let's talk about the Amani, because they're the next culture we're gonna want to talk about. They were previously enemies. If you happen to be around and played the raid in Zulaman, then you're familiar with the Amani and sort of their culture. We've had an opportunity to expand them because we created an entire zone for them now. They are very proud people. They worked very hard to get their land. They had some important work to do. The Zandalari basically said, well, you can have that land if you defeat this, giant, evil, horrible thing. And so they did that. And they were a great empire for a period of time, but they've fallen sort of into a lesser status now. They've sort of lost their touch with the Loa. They're not as close to them. Being right on the border and having a lot of conflict with the Blood Elves makes this a little tricky for them. They too are having some void problems. This is Zulaman. We've built the entire zone out. You will see the raid space. It still exists. Those of you that did that raid will recognize those buildings, I expect. This is a very old forest, very tall mountains. It's temperate. It rains a fair bit. It's got eagle, lynx, Janalai. It's got dragonhawk, bear, Loa, temples still, but the Amani haven't been really worshiping the Loa for a long time. A lot of stuff is overgrown and abandoned. And
Yeah, in Zulamon, that when we fight them, that's their priests take on those, you know, the dragon hawk and the bear and stuff like that. But how long is for a while? Because I think it was originally what? Vanilla BC that they had Zulamon, and then they brought it back in Cataclysm. But lore-wise, how long has a while been? Because it would have to be in, you know, when we fought them, you know, they were still apparently praying to the Loa, and, you know, the bosses we fought there were taking on the forms of the dragon hawk and the bear and all that. So how long have they not been apparently praying to the Loa? And speaking of Loa, when are we gonna see Vol'jin? Isn't he supposed to be a Loa at this point or some shit like that? If we're gonna be going around to a troll tribe, having Vol'jin with us would be pretty cool.
and Zul'jara is going to need to find a way to help her people survive the void onslaught that is coming for them. As you can see where the void has come in, it's not looking quite so good. And let's move on to the Heronir. So we met the Heronir early on in the War Within, but we weren't really sure what they were about. We didn't know their story, and we didn't know their connection really to the rest of the world. We'd never seen them before. They're ancient guardians of the Rootways, and they're led actually by a council of elders. They have a very direct connection with their goddess, and Orwena has a very strong direct connection, in fact, with the goddess, which led her to leave her people and go out into the outside world, something that they don't tend to do and they don't really look kindly upon. So, as you probably have heard, they are unlocked as an allied race. You'll be able to make your very own Heronir. We're going to have great customizations for them. They look pretty awesome. I have to say, I've seen the druid forms. We weren't able to show those yet. They are really awesome. One of them is a pangolin, which just looks amazing. They are prone to wearing this bioluminescent paint, and they have different kinds of patterns they can put on their faces and chests. So really cool looking, really awesome. Not really elves, not really trolls. Those of you that have kind of seen them previously, played in the War Within, know that they take a bat form when they want to travel. So that's the Heronir and their customizations. And this is the zone, Herondar. It is a fungal jungle place, and it has all of the roots of the world trees all converge here, all are twisted up in this area, this pocket area, which isn't really directly connected to anything. The people, the Heronir travel through the rootways themselves, so they're able to move around the world. One of the interesting things about this zone is it has a place called the Rift of Aln, and from the Rift of Aln will issue forth creatures that their goddess dreams. And sometimes they are horrific and horrible things. And some members of the Heronir take an oath, give up their connection to the goddess, and serve as wardens of that place, preventing those horrible creatures.
The Rift of Aln, we know about that. Isn't that also where we fought Xavius? But the Rift is a place that Malfurion looked into, and he didn't see good things. I think it was, hang on. Yeah, the Rift of Aln, where we fought Xavius. So it looks like it's been kind of cleared up. The deep fissure is in the corner, located deep within the Emerald Dream. So I guess they are kind of saying that this new race, this race has a connection to the Dream. I mean, kind of obvious since the world trees also kind of have a connection to the dream as well. So, gazing into it, Malfurion Stormrage saw it as a bottomless chasm, which radiated with primeval energies that even he dare not investigate. Indeed, the very rift itself seemed half-dreamed, for it had surreal quality. Curiously, only then did Malfurion truly sense that the ancient evil, though it fought to keep its grip there, did so from somewhere deep within the depths of Azeroth's own seas. But yeah, we went to the Rift of Helm. I heard that. I was like, we've been there before, but it was like during Xavius's fight, and it was just like, because remember, we went to the Emerald Nightmare, and that Rift of Helm was where we fought Xavius. So, I mean, we've already been to the Emerald Dream, so it's not that big of a deal. It's like, oh my god, the Emerald Dream. We've already been there, done that now. So, but the Rift of Helm is even deeper, and the fact that we're going there, I wonder what they're gonna set up for us there.
From attacking. They also have this place called the Den of Echoes, which we're looking at now. This is where the Haranir remember their past through paintings, and you will have an opportunity to learn some of those stories by interacting with those paintings. And let's talk a little bit about the Void, since we also have that as a culture. You can see people you recognize on one side and people you probably recognize less on the other side. Void creatures in general are very predatory. They are interested in eating anything smaller and weaker than themselves and taking that power. The Dominar, which are sort of the strongest, are a bit different. They are very, very intelligent, very smart. And the Dominar actually have a bit of a hierarchy that they've developed, again, through conquest, through, beating on and dominating others. And you will deal with Dominar as one of the stronger representatives of the Void. Of course, Xalatath is part of this group. Cultists who follow Xalatath and follow the Void. We've already seen the Shadow Guard as well. There's even cute little ones, but they will try to eat you, so don't think that they're all that cute. And this is Voidstorm. This is a mysterious world that has been formed by the Void. Everything here is hungry. Everything will eat you given opportunity. This is all about...
So basically, it's Australia. Everything there wants you dead. The flora, the fauna, the water, everything wants you dead. Everything wants to fucking eat you. But I liked the fact that she kind of clarified, because I was like, what the hell is Voidstorm? So the fact that it's a mysterious world that's made of void, and is it a mysterious world, or is it a world that they're going to introduce to us? Like, oh yeah, this world was taken completely by the void. It's not made of void, but it was a world. It had a world soul and everything, just like Azeroth. But this is a world that also fell to the void. I mean, looks like they got to be siphoning that void energy off of something. And if they have a Titan spirit within it, or just a spirit inside that's been corrupted and turned to void, yeah, it'd make a good, makes sense that that's what they're draining.
About gaining power, becoming stronger, becoming more powerful, and eating the next thing. Essentially, we have a big raid here in Voidstorm. This is where we will face off against the Void with the Army of Light and attempt to make sense of what's going on here. But there are some gorgeous pictures. I would say the best blues and purples ever, probably, happening right here. But generally speaking, a really, really cool zone to explore. And you can be pretty sure that they're enemies, all of them. All right, and I'm going to hand off to Ian for delves, dungeons, and raids. Thanks, all.
Thank you, Maria. Yeah, all those amazing zones that you just saw, of course, are going to contain delves, dungeons, and raids. So really, delves are one of our proudest additions to War Within, and they are, of course, here to stay. And so you have 10 new delves coming with Midnight, scattered across these zones. I think we've learned a lot of lessons. We've taken feedback on what worked and what didn't. And so these are going to have all the same layers of variety and replayability that you knew in the War Within, but
All right, we've got the Shadow Enclave of Voidholm, Collegiate Calamity, Perhelion Plaza, The Dark Way, Twilight Crypts, Atalaman. That sounds really, really fun. The Grudge Pit, The Gulf of Memory, Sunkiller Sanctum, Shadowguard Point, and Torment's Rise, which got a little asterisk right there. So maybe he'll... That one. Torment's Rise. Torment!
more layouts, more enemies that we found work better in this format, and less of those that don't. A couple of these delves are actually going to be outdoor spaces where you can use your ground mounts to get around more easily. And we're really happy to be able to integrate them into the stories of the zones, because now that they're such a proven format, we can really have quests lead you through them more regularly. Now, of course, in addition to these 10 delves, there is an 11th Nemesis delve, where you will track down the Nemesis that has been plaguing you over the course of the first season. And taking the place of Bran Bronzebeard will be a new companion, none other than our good friend Valera Sanguinar. Now, she will aid you in many of the same ways as Bran, and hopefully stand in fewer things that you'd prefer she not stand in. So, dungeons. We have 8 new dungeons coming in Midnight, 4 level up, 4 max level. And again, these, we always try to showcase fun games.
You see what I see? Well, I think you should see what I see. We're reading the exact same thing. Magister's Terrace. Yes. Windrunner Spire. Nice. That is... I'm interested. Also, Valera. Nice. I am definitely going to be switching to her because I cannot stand Bran sometimes.
Gameplay and innovative looks at the dungeon format. We'll be returning to Magister's Terrace, which has really been reimagined and expanded from last we saw it. We'll visit some new locations that weren't accessible before, including a balcony overlooking the Sunwell itself. When we go to Murder Row, a corner of Silvermoon, I think for Court of Stars fans back from Legion, there's some of those vibes here, as we're actually going in undercover to investigate rumors of the use of fell magic within the walls of Silvermoon. And before we know it, we're going to be plunged into combat, and the dungeon will unfold from there. Another favorite is the Voidscar Arena in the Voidstorm. Here, at the whims of one of the Dominar that Maria was just mentioning, combatants from around the universe come together to kind of battle to the death for the pleasure of the Dominar, and we're going to be thrown into that arena as part of this dungeon. And don't worry, especially in Mythic Plus, as waves come at you, you can control the pace of the waves. Of course, we're going to have a mix of 4 of these dungeons, as well as 4 returning fan favorites in the first season of Midnight. But unlike in War Within, all 8 of these dungeons will be available in Mythic 0 during that pre-season period right at launch. Another fun dungeon that we'll be venturing into is Windrunner Spire, where for those of you, particularly lore fans out there, we're going to get to learn more about the family history and the tragic background of the Windrunner family. This is a wing dungeon with plenty of mysteries to uncover.
Okay, so it wasn't actually me. It's the video. I don't know what the hell. Because I rewound and several times, and it's the same thing each time, but whatever, we'll just...
Also be the Dream Rift, a one-boss raid in Harinar. And then shortly after that, we'll be able to take the fight back to the Sunwell and the Gates of Silvermoon in the March on Keldanas. So really excited to have different environments, different settings, and really integrate the raids into the stories that we're telling more than ever before. Because with story mode, all players can experience these epic moments, and we can offer a wider range of environments for guilds to challenge themselves against. So that is a quick look at the world, the setting, and what's coming in Midnight. Thank you, Gamescom.
Yes, Ian, very nice. It looks pretty good. I'm really excited to kind of see the trolls, you know, the Amani, going to Magister's Terrace. I can't wait to see reimagined Magister's Terrace, Windrunner Spire. Just all these places that we've known, being able to go there. So I'm looking forward to it. It looks really cool. Delves, you know, not my forte, or rather, not something I enjoy, but I mean, they're cool enough, you know, they're quick enough. They give some pretty good experience, some good rewards. So I guess, you know, you can't really complain. But yeah, it looks like it's shaping up to be really, really cool. Kind of want to know when we're going to fight Xalatath, since the expansion after this is the Last Titan, in which we're going to be dealing with the Titans, apparently, and Iridikron should be coming back. So are we going to be dealing with Xalatath in Midnight? Is she going to be like a Gul'dan type thing where she's going to survive till the Last Titan, and then we're going to kill her as like the first boss, you know, the first raid? She's going to be the final boss of it. Like, what is Xalatath's whole role in this? Like, when are we taking her out? But anyway, yeah, let me know what you guys think about the trolls and partying up with them, and where you think it's headed with all of this. But yeah, that's gonna do for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.